Oh, dreadfully sorry.
Good evening, sir.
Don't actually have a reservation. I don't suppose you have any tables available.
Just one moment, sir. Yes, we have a table for two.
Oh, perfect. I'll be joined by my, well, she's not my wife exactly. I'm not sure what you'd call her. I'd sort of...
Very good, sir.
And then there is, of course, my horse. Now, I don't know if you'd still call that a table for two, or it might be a table for three.
It's a table for three,
It's
sir.
a table
Yes,
for
very
three.
good. Come with me.
Okay.
Your uncle has died!
Hooray!
No, seriously, that's word for word what it says at the start of the manual. Where do we keep finding such mean games? But anyway, that's not even the half of this sandwich. This game, Last Will, is a game in which your dear sweet uncle has died, and on his deathbed he's realised that actually he hasn't lived as much of a life as he could have done, and he should have been out there enjoying it and carping the diem, but he didn't carpe the diem, and he wants you to do that, which means he wants people who are going to enjoy life and enjoy money and get out there and make the most of it. So he's given each of you a bit of money, and then the person who's best at spending money will get the most of the money.
Yeah, in reality, Last Will is a game where you and your ratbag relatives are racing to spend some pounds to get some more pounds.
Yeah, just flippantly spending all of the money in bad.
It's probably not what your uncle would have wanted.
No.
So how are you actually going to spend all this lovely, horrible money that your uncle's given you? Well, it's not going to be as easy as you might think. There are only so many hours in the day, only so many farms on the market. And don't believe what your mother told you, there are only so many fish in the sea, and your uncles want to get all of them. Play starts with this arcane looking track over here. This is where you're going to start your turn, and it shows what you're going to do with your day. Each player can take one of these plans. The first number on the plan is the amount of cards you can draw blindly off the top of these decks, representing property, companions, events, and helpers, helping you spend your money. The thing below that, they represent how many errand boys you get to run around town for you that turn. And lastly, it's the amount of actions that you personally get to do things. Because it's all well and good having a nice dinner with 18 of your closest dogs. But you need to be there, and that can be a massive problem.
Surely the best way, though, is just to spend all your money on property. Get yourself a couple of expensive mansions, and then fill them with staff, gardeners and chefs. Get yourself into a situation where you have to maintain these things, and it costs you a bunch of money. You can have mansions full of staff on a monthly wage. You can have a farm that's filled to the brim with a plethora of horses, and then before you know it, you've got an empire that's just incredibly expensive to maintain, and you'll be bankrupt in no time.
Oh, but no, you need to sell those before you can end the game, because you can't technically be bankrupt so long as you've actually got property.
What? But I'm going to make a fortune. This is a disaster.
Yeah, you're going to make a ton of money. The trick is to buy to buy high and then sell low. Yeah, because then you'll make the least money.
So it's like being an alternate reality estate agent.
Yes, basically. I mean, that's why you can adjust the property market. One of the things you can send errand boys to do is go here, so that manor houses or farms or town mansions all become different prices, and you hopefully screw over your friends.
You can even hire an estate agent to ensure you always get the worst possible deal when buying and selling property in the game. Good lord, this game is strange.
It is strange, and buying and selling property is all very well, but the weirdest thing about houses is letting them fall into disrepair. You see, when you buy a house, it's good, and if you can make it fall apart, then that's great, and you can even have a wild party, throw an event which trashes the house even further. Except maintaining the house and making sure it doesn't get any cheaper also costs you money, which is good, so you want to maintain houses, but... Wait, hang on, wait.
So that's events, properties and helpers covered, but the fourth deck is quite important. The fourth deck is the deck that can make or break you, and that's companions. The companion deck has all sorts of things in it. Every type of companion that you could possibly have in the real world, such as a guest, a chef, a dog, or a horse. So, you might have a guest that you move into your manor forever. Or, hey, I'm going to a party, let's take a dog. I'm going on a boat, not without my horse, I'm not. So it's exactly the sort of thing that you want to pick up all the time, just because these cards can often augment lots of things, whether it's popping them in a house or taking them out for an event, and just generally end up costing you more money. So, for example, let's have a look. I need a lady because I want to go out for dinner. Let's just draw one of them. It's a horse. It's alright, I'll just draw another one. It's another horse. It's horse. I didn't need any horses. What can I do with horses?
So by now, you can probably see a couple of Last Will's selling points. It's really funny for a start. The art on the Hectic Day card made me laugh out loud when I saw it for the first time. It's so nearly perfect. The one problem is that all of the art seems to assume you're playing a man, which is kind of not really ideal. But yeah, it's funny, it's a great theme, and the puzzle is unlike anything you'll have played before.
It's got this weird kind of machination thing where a lot of time in this kind of game, you build your own economic machine and everything gets bigger and works better, and that's great if you're good at it, but sometimes you feel like you're just getting left behind while the other players just storm ahead with their amazingly engineered system to make money. Whereas in this, you craft a little machine that loses you money, but before you've really had much of a chance to enjoy the glee of your incredible creation, it's time to start disassembling it because you need to sell it.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. It's what kind of a machine do you build and when do you sell that machine? Because if your uncle gives you £40, you've got to play a way different game involving farms full of horses and breeding fairs than if you just have to quickly lose half of that and then you just want a house with a school chum in every single room helping you have parties.
And it's choosing when you move all of the school friends out of the house and sell the houses and then focus on going to the theatre with as many horses as you possibly can.
Yeah.
When do you make that shift?
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, so I think Shut Up and Sit Down recommends?
Pretty much.
Mostly. I mean, yeah, I would say that it doesn't necessarily have the staying power or like, you know, how fascinating the puzzles are in things like Suburbia or Caverna, these economic games where you're really thinking about them and you leave the game and you can't stop thinking about it. But it's great. And it's
out of the box, it's just a lot more immediately entertaining.
Yes.
And for a game that's not that interactive, as a lot of these games, you obviously have a bit of kind of jostling for position in terms of taking stuff with the little worker hat people.
Yeah.
At the same time, you do get the interactivity of just watching the other people failing again and again by making money, and it's just funny to laugh at your friends.
Probably the best thing this puzzle has going for it is that it's immediately obvious when you've screwed up and how you've screwed up. You realise you need to sell something, you can't. You realise you've got school friends who are giving you a ton of cards and then you can't go on a boat trip and a carriage ride on the same day. It's clear. It's crystal clear. So yeah, we recommend.
We recommend this?
We recommend the base game.
The base game?
Oh snap, you know what month it is.
I know what month it is.
Here we go.
Oh, hello. Yes, just thought I'd give you a quick call. I'm not going to be coming into work today.
Oh, well, of course, your uncle passed away. Some amount of grieving is entirely natural.
Actually, it's because I'm going to the opera. And then after that, I'm going to be getting married. And then I'm going to buy a couple of mansions. And then after that, I'm going to go on a sort of impromptu champagne boat cruise with a dog. I don't even like the dog that much, but or champagne. I was going to ask, is it all right if next Tuesday, if I take next Tuesday off as holiday? Is that right?
In Last Will Getting Sacked, your uncle is still dead. Hooray!
But that's not all good because unfortunately things have just got significantly worse. That's right, you've got a job.
What are they?
I don't know, but they sound horrible. It's kind of an incremental just amount of money that comes into your account every week, and it's very difficult to spend it and get rid of it. So the only way to stop this from happening and win the game is to lose your job. But unfortunately your boss is a tremendously nice and understanding man who knows that you've just lost your uncle and are probably just upset. So not going to work is not good enough. You have to actually aggravate your boss in very, very specific ways over a period of time, incrementally losing all of the money you make until eventually you get fired.
Great. Well, yes, the puzzle just got puzzlier. Included in Getting Sacked are some new will cards that, same as before, show you how much money your uncle's left you, but also tells you in this game whether you'll have an important level 5 job or a level 4 job. And now, first off, I'm just going to tell you that while these cards look like they add quite a lot of thematic flavour to the game, whether you're a banker, an architect, or a brewer, or a doctor, in practice, the best thing about them is just reminding your friends to take their wages each turn, which is going to lead to all of them going "Ah!" at the same time and getting money from the central bank. The actual job you've got isn't that thematic because they really haven't thought out what you have to do to get fired. Like, for example, the bank has to get a farm and take a carriage ride and a boat trip, and it doesn't quite make sense. Why can't the actor have a horse? Why can't the lawyer be seen eating out? Very quickly, we started just thinking of these as cards that gave you money that you had to slowly cover in tokens, and it's a bit rubbish, really.
Yeah, we sort of jury-rigged our own rule, which meant that whenever you lost an aspect of your job or pissed off your boss, you had to explain why. For example, my boss, the brewer, he was furious that I went on a boat because his mother drowned whilst on a boat. And he's furious, even angrier that I've done something with a dog because his dog drowned on a boat. Yeah, it's actually quite hard to come up with these reasons, but still, we tried to do it ourselves because it just wasn't in the game. So what are the jobs really about? Well, the jobs, to be blunt, actually just fix a problem with a vanilla game in that they make sure that you can't just stick to one technique to win the game. You have to do a variety of things to get rid of your job. If you don't get rid of your job, you can't win the game.
The same thing is true of another feature of getting sacked. Interchangeable player boards. What?
Is this really what we've come to?
Yeah. This is actually a good thing because like the jobs and the randomised ways of losing those jobs and the randomised amounts of money your uncle gives you, the new randomised turn orders that you're going to be playing with actually continue to mess the game up and mean you can't play in a certain way. And of course there's also even an additional thing here. Look, it's like a Gundam economic reorganisation strategy game, and there's a new deck of exciting things for you to buy in addition to everything. Anyway, it's not all boring stuff to expand the lifespan of the game because there's marriage. Let's get married.
Oh, Quinns, I didn't know. I mean, we've not known.
In the game.
Oh, in the game.
Yeah.
You didn't mean. Oh no, of course.
No.
Of course you didn't.
No, that would.
Of course.
Matt, I mean, no.
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 No, of course. I know. I knew what you meant.
I mean, you knew that.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. I'll back in a minute. I'll back in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. So, where were we? Marriages. Yes, because love doesn't have to be sad. It can also be outrageously expensive. And one of the real injections of colour into this game does come in the form of getting married. You've got all sorts of cards. You've got wedding gifts, you've got engagement rings, you've got an actual wedding, you need to have one of them. And the way it works is you sort of collect a hand of these things and then you just blow them all at once and have a really big wedding that costs you loads of money, and you might have parties chained into it, and you might have a wedding on a boat. I don't know, but you just sort of have a really expensive wedding. And also, you can then get married again next week. But the game is very clear to point out that you are not a cad. You don't go around just getting married to different people. No, you decide maybe a few days after getting married the first time on a boat that you want to renew your vows with a second wedding. No one objects to that.
So that's it for the expansion. You've got your jobs, you've got your new player board, you've got your weddings, and you've got some new houses that count as two kinds of houses. Don't understand what's going on. Overall then, it's not a fantastic expansion. We'd say you should buy it if your friends have clocked Last Will, if you love it, which is always the case with board game expansions, or if you've got an uncle who's died and you need to spend a lot of money. Overall then, yeah, we really like Last Will and we quite like the expansion. It reminds us a lot of Ladies and Gentlemen, actually. Victorians behaving badly is just a really great theme. So overall, yeah, Last Will's fun, it's funny, and it reminded me of the importance of an old friend.
Oh, thanks, man. I mean, you're, like, obviously, I think you're a really, like, old friend of mine as well, and you mean lots.
The old friend card, the one that gives you an extra action.
The card, of course, I know. I knew.
No, I mean, it's not personal. We haven't known each other for any.
I know it's only been a couple of years, isn't it? But I think sometimes it feels like, even though I've not known you very long, it feels like we are kind of But no,
But we're not though.
I was
I mean, like there's old and then there's old.
I was just
There's-
joking. I was just riffing. You know, he had that misunderstanding. It was just. I'm just back in a minute.